In this video, we'll be looking at section 1.2, complex fractions and unit rates. So how we deal with this is we're going to have to remember that a fraction bar really means divide. So how I want to, my essential question will be, how do I simplify complex fractions? Well, before we can even simplify a complex fraction, we have to talk about what a complex fraction is. And a complex fraction is simply a fraction with fractions in the numerator and or denominator. So all it is it's a fraction that's made up of more fractions. But if we remember that that big fraction bar is division, this won't be too difficult because we'll just use our ability to divide fractions. So how can you rewrite each expression as a division problem? So what I want to do is this big fraction bar right here will be our division. So I really want to read this as 18 divided by 3/4. So if we write it just like that, 18 divided by 3/4, what we can then do is use our keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. And what will happen is we'll have 18 times changing division and multiplication. There's our change. And then we flip the second fraction, and we'll have 4/3. Now what I'll do is write in my hidden ones, and then we can simplify. There's multiple ways to simplify. You can multiply the numerator and denominator, then divide. So we'll look at that. Or you can simplify early, if you remember how to do that. To simplify this one, we will multiply 18 times 4. So 18 times 4 is 72. Multiplying across the numerators, 18 times 4 is 72 over, and then 1 times 3 is 3. Then we divide 72 divided by 3. Remember, this fraction bar is always division, so if we can divide, we will divide. And 72 divided by 3 is 24. So let's make sure that's correct. I go 3 into 72. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract. Bring down my 2. And 3 goes into 12. 4 times 3 is 12. And that's 0, so this equals 24. So that's what we do. We treat the bigger fraction bar as a division, and then we use our keep, change, flip. So let's try that again. I'm going to say this is 3/5 divided by 6. So I have 3/5, my top fraction, divided by, so I'll write divided by 6. Now to do this, what I'll need to do is write in my hidden 1. So I have something to flip. And then we'll do our keep, change, flip. So we'll keep 3/5 the same. We'll change division into multiplication. And then we'll flip 6 over 1 into 1 over 6. Now we'll multiply our numerators and denominators together. So when I do that, 3 times 1 is 3, over 5 times 6 is 30. Can we simplify or reduce this fraction? Can we simplify this fraction? We can divide both the top and bottom by 3, so we get 1/10, and then we're done with that problem. So let's do one more. We're going to use that same idea. I'm going to write this as a division problem. 1/3 divided by 1/4, left to right. So I'll go 1/3 divided by 1/3 divided by 1/4, and then we'll use our keep, change, flip, and we'll end up with 1/3 times flipping 4/1. So we keep, change division to multiplication, and then flip. We multiply these together, and this will be straightforward, and we'll be done. And we'll get 1 times 4 is 4 over 3 times 1 is 3. And we can't simplify, we can't divide this fraction, so we're done. 4/3. So that's how we deal with complex fractions. Turn it into left to right division, and then use our keep, change, flip. So how can we use this to help us with unit rates? Well, what we'll want to do is, since our unit rates is simply dividing, if we have everything as fractions, we can use this idea of left to right division and keep, change, flip, and we'll be in our unit rate. So what I want to do is first turn everything to improper fractions. So I have 36 miles and 1.5 gallons. So first I want to say this is going to be 36 miles, and then I need to turn this into an improper fraction. So I multiply, then add. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3, so I have 3/2 gallons. Now when I do this division, I want to divide both top and bottom by that 3/2. So I'm really just going to take 36 divided by 3/2, and then I'll have my miles over gallons. So we'll go 36 divided by 3/2, write in our hidden 1, and we'll do our keep, change, flip, and we'll get 36 over 1 times 2 over 3 will equal 72 over 3. We already did 72 over 3 earlier. That's going to be 24. So this equals 24. And now, since we did this division, our units are ready to go. We know that we have miles on the top and 1 gallon on the bottom, because we have divided the numerator by the denominator, so we can see that I'm just going to end up with 1 in the denominator. So let's try this again. I'm just going to do my division, 3/4 divided by 5, and then by doing that I'll end up with a 1 in the denominator. I mean, what we're really doing is just dividing the top and bottom by that 5. I mean, that's what we did on this last one. We just divided the top and bottom by 1.5. So let's go ahead and do that. I have 3/4 divided by 5. We'll need to put in our hidden over 1. And then we're just going to do our keep, change, flip. So we keep 3/4, 3/4, change division into multiplication, and then we flip the 5 over 1 to 1 over 5. Now we multiply. 3 times 1 is 3, and 4 times 5 is 20. So we get 3/20 ounces per $1. So for every dollar we spend, we'll get 3/20 of an ounce. And this is our answer. Okay, let's try one more. So we're going to try to find our feet per minute. So we'll do the same idea where I'm dividing both top and bottom by the 3/4. So I have 1/2 divided by 3/4. To do this, we'll need to do our keep, change, flip. And we'll have keeping 1/2 the same, changing division into multiplication and flipping 3/4. So we'll get, our answer will be then 1 times 4 is 4 over 2 times 3 is 6. Simplifying, this one we can simplify, dividing top and bottom by 2, we get 2/3. Now I'll take this fraction, that's going to be my numerator, 2/3, using my units, feet in the numerator, per 1 minute in my denominator. And that will be our answer. Now let's go ahead and flip to the back so we can look at one of the word problems. We'll just do one of the word problems and then we'll be done with this section. So we'll flip to the back. So the idea is we just need to convert the words into our equation and then we'll be able to simplify it. Now remember, using the words, if it's miles per hour, then miles will go in our numerator on top since it comes first. Miles is on top, and then hour will be on bottom. So just that left to right, whichever comes first is on top, and whichever comes second is on the bottom, will help us keep track of how to set this up. So first let's read our problem, and then we'll write, and then we'll start answering these questions. John can jog 1 1/3 miles in 1/4 hour, 1/4 hour. Find his average speed in miles per hour. So I'm going to put whatever number and the unit miles on top, then my per, my big fraction bar, and then my unit and my value for hours on the bottom. So let's see if we can set that up. Here's my miles right here, so we'll do that first. So we'll have 1 1/3 miles, and then per, here's our per, that's going to be our fraction bar, and then the bottom we'll put our hours, 1/4 hour. Okay, now we want to convert any mixed numbers into improper fractions. That'll help us do this much easier. So I can go 3 times 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, so I have 4/3 miles per, my big fraction bar, 1/4 hour. Now I'll set up our division. That's what this multiply by the reciprocal is, our keep, change, flip. So we'll, and remember, all we're really doing is dividing top and bottom by 1/4. I write this out just to show you what we're really doing, but all we're really going to do is go 4/3 divided by 1/4, our numerator divided by our denominator. Now we do our keep, change, flip, and we'll get 4/3 times flipping, and we get 4/1. When we simplify this, we get 16/3. And we want to write in our units. We figured out that this is 16/3 miles per 1 hour. So that's how we can set up and solve a word problem using our clues. Miles per hour helps us set up miles in the numerator, per is our fraction bar, hours in the denominator, and then we just follow these steps to simplify. And once we've simplified and we've gotten our final fraction, we can say John can run 16/3 miles per 1 hour. So every hour he runs 16/3 miles. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. Remember, if you ever have any questions, just ask them during the next class period, and we will resolve them. Have a great rest of your day.